good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Flatout Racing Network's continued coverage of Season 6 of the Talladega Nights Shake and Bake Series as we get ready for race number 6 here tonight under the lights at the Talladega Nights Super Speedway. 2 races left to go for drivers to qualify their way into the 12 available playoff spots to battle for this season's championship. 5 races in the books, 5 different drivers have gone to victory lane, and the battle around that 12th in the standings cut line continues to remain close. I'm Seth Cole alongside of Kyle Matthews, and Kyle, these final 2 races going to take place over a span of 3 weeks. We've got the race tonight, an off week for drivers to have a little bit of a break, and then the pressure's back on in that regular season finale. Tonight, do we see a little shift in mentality than what we've seen here in these middle races of the regular season, which have tended to trend more towards green flag and green flag pit stops?
I think there's always a little bit of a shift closer we get to that cutoff, and I find it interesting in the schedule how there's an off week right before that final race, just to add the pressure even more.
Just as if you need a little bit more buildup of that adrenaline going into a critical race. Here tonight, we're going to be covering 66 laps of racing, and as I mentioned, our last few weeks here, the last 2 to 3 weeks, we've ended up seeing long green flag runs, more execution on pit road that has played a tremendous part into the outcome of who is going to victory lane and who is not. Now, we've documented it here in this series, 12 playoff positions, the top 12 in points, but this is not a win and you're in type playoff system. Mentioned 5 different drivers have gone to victory lane, and 4 of those that are full-time drivers here, they currently find themselves in the top 12 in the standings. Most recent winner, Grant Wesley, sits 4th in points. Rodney Sones, who won the season opener, is 2nd in the standings. A couple of weeks ago, winner Denny Carroll sits as the points leader, and Jeffrey Elliott, who won, I believe it was 3 weeks ago, he currently sits 9th in the point standing. So those drivers right now, they're sitting good to point their way in, but their victories do not lock them up. What about drivers just above, on, or below the cut line coming into tonight? Is a good finish crucial this evening, do you think, for them, so that way they don't have nearly the same type of pressure going into the finale in a couple weeks' time?
If it was a win and you're in type format, then I would say they'd probably have to go for the win. But like you mentioned, consistency is rewarded, at least, up until the playoffs. So I think, if they're around the cut line, either right below it or right above it, I think they just need to continue doing what they're doing. Try to go out there. I mean, of course, try to win the race if you can, but, don't feel bad for taking a top 10 or a top 5 finish if that's all you have.
Absolutely. As you mentioned, it's one of the few series that we end up covering here where consistency is a main talking point in a super speedway series. Shout out to everybody that's tuned into our chat so far here tonight, watching along. Randy Waugh, he's going to be piloting that number 21 here this evening off the grid. He ended up giving us that patented Let's Go Racing Corey in our chat. David Chin, also in there as well. Blaine Donlin of Tar Nation TV. He's actually piloting a car here this evening. Second straight week, we'll see that 72 on track. And Robert Spring as well. We're actually going to be seeing the 74 piloted this evening by Rod Weston, one of the broadcasters over at Tar Nation TV, filling in for Robert Spring here tonight. But it's time to find out who are the drivers that are going to be taking the green flag here tonight in the next to last race of the regular season. Let's head up and give you tonight's starting lineup.
Channel switched.
That's true.
Depends on how good the race is.
Yep.
Good evening, everybody. Looking forward to a good race here tonight for sure, on the eve almost of the playoffs being put together. This is the starting lineup for tonight's 6th race of Season 6.
Starting on the pole, Kelly Causey from Agricola, Mississippi in the 00 Jiff Chevrolet.
Starting second, Grant Wesley from Princeton, Indiana, driving a number 88 NOS Energy Drink Dodge Challenger.
Starting third, 55, Ken Roberts, Wisconsin.
Starting fourth, Randy Waugh from Huntsville, Alabama, driving the 21 Alabama Crimson Tide Dodge. Shout out to my sons Christian and Corey, my grandsons Adrian, Asher, and Asa. Let's go racing, Corey.
Starting fifth, driving the 28, Mark Paglia from Gainesville, Georgia.
Starting sixth, driving 931, Robert Breedlove from Lancaster, South Carolina.
Starting seventh is R.J. Cabana, driving 889.
Starting eighth, the number 43, Bob Dixon from Macon, Georgia.
Starting P9, 22, Greg Palmer.
Starting 10, Doug in a blue car.
Starting P11, Chris Van Vliet from Annapolis, Maryland.
Starting 12th in the Chevrolet Chevelle from Big Stone Gap, Virginia.
Starting 13th, Stephen Brandstetter driving a 510 Ford Mustang from Ranelette, Oklahoma.
Starting 14th, driving a 110 Mallow Cup Mustang from Willamette, Connecticut.
Starting 15th, number 82, Craig Hagley.
Starting 16th, the number 9, Chris Elliott out of Mooresville, North Carolina.
Number 17, starting 17th, number 60, Perry Bond. Starting 18th, 27, Bob Pumpkin Sire driving the U.S. Army Throwback Cadillac from Occupied, Michigan.
Starting 19th in the 024 Chevy, Dennis McCarthy from Sound Beach, New York.
Blaine Donlin in the 72, Kingston, Ontario, from 20th spot.
21st, number 3, Jim Goodranch Chevrolet, Gary Hauser out of Sterling, Kentucky.
22nd position, number 66, KD Huntsberry from Orrington, Maine, driving that Yankee Chevrolet. Let's go, Natty. Keep your eyes on the 66.
Starting 23rd with the slowest recorded time tonight, driving the number 38 Black Rifle Coffee Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 from Bentonville, Arkansas, Rodney Sullins.
Starting 24th, number 29, Brian Wolf from Youngstown, Ohio, driving the Fluid Studios Chevrolet.
Starting 25th, Javier Negron from Bridgeport, Connecticut, driving the number 40 Toyota Camry Tide.
Starting in 26, Ulises Sandoval, driver of the 96 car Toyota Camry, ESL Express. Good luck, everybody.
Starting 27th, driving for Robert Spring tonight in the 74 Warner Brothers Toyota Camry. Hailing from North Springfield Runt, you got Rod Weston.
Starting 28th, Brian Ross in Heath, Texas. Good luck, guys.
Starting 29th, Garland Oaks from Martinsville, Virginia, driving at number 67, Dr. Pepper Toyota from Team Wrecking Ball. Good luck, guys.
Starting 30th, Alex Moe, Southern California, 48 Lowe's Chevrolet.
Starting shotgun on the field, number 711, John Godfrey.
And there's the drivers that'll take the green flag here tonight, making preparations for the upcoming off week. But, of course, that regular season finale coming up in 2 weeks' time as well. Best of luck to everybody here tonight. Looking forward to a good one.
I love you, Seth.
Thank
I
you,
love
Seth.
you more.
Seth.
Talk.
I'm your
Channel switched.
Getting ready now for drivers to have their 5 minutes of happy hour. Couple of notes here before these drivers will be gritting up here tonight. You ended up hearing a couple of names that are in the field we haven't seen in the last couple of weeks. Alex Moe, last couple of weeks, work has gotten in the way. We'll be seeing that number 48 out on track tonight. Typical Alex Moe, going to be starting from the rear of the field. He doesn't always stay there, though. We normally see him up at the front in the closing stages. And also, no Jeffrey Elliott here tonight. So one of our former winners is not going to be taking the green flag, which will be interesting to see because I mentioned Jeffrey coming into this race 9th in the point standings. If I could do the really quick math in my head, he was 39 points ahead of the cut line coming into this evening. So it will be interesting to see, based off of tonight's results heading into that regular season finale, where the 56 will be positioned around that cut line.
Yeah, they don't have I'm guessing they don't have like a Provo system or anything like that.
I believe they actually do. I believe they do have a provisional system. I don't know how much exactly it pays out. I don't know if there's actually a set number of points you get for a provisional or if it's based off of the number of drivers that show up that night. So, off the top of my head, I may have seen what the point system was in passing, but I'm not at the moment being able to recollect it. More than likely, if I ended up saying what I thought it would end up being the point system from somewhere else. So I'm not even going to try and attempt just to make sure I don't give out the wrong information. Speaking about those drivers around that cut line, some drivers we will be highlighting during the course of the evening are going to include Ulysses Sandoval, Steven Brandstetter, Brian Wolf. They are 10th through 12th in points coming tonight. There's only 10 points separating those drivers. Just below the cut line, you've got Bob Dixon, Greg Palmer, Bob Sire, Garland Oak. So those drivers, they come into this race anywhere from 25 points or less below the cut line. And we've seen there's obviously bonus points that are given out for winning races and everything too. We've seen some major point swings, so there's not anything saying that some of those drivers could not find themselves above the cut line going into that regular season finale in a couple weeks' time.
Could be very stressful for a good number of drivers heading into that race.
Certainly will be. While we've got the chance, for those that did not tune into the Flatout Racing Network's coverage on Wednesday night of the Aero 88 series, or the Flatout Racing Network and Tarnation TV coverage of Thursday night's Talladega Challenge series, we do now have the ability to publicly let everybody know what has been going on with one of the great racers that we end up seeing here, whether it be at Tarnation TV, or at Talladega Nights, or Rolling Thunder Gaming, or many other leagues that are around here in the F2003 community, that being the legendary 43 of Bob Dixon. Bob Dixon, as of right now, he has for the last 13 years been battling cancer. And from what we understood from him on Wednesday night, they have taken him off of the chemotherapy. The doctors gave him up to 5 weeks to live. Now, he does have an appointment, which I believe was scheduled for today. It was either today or it was next Saturday. I remember he said Saturday. I don't know exactly. I can't remember which one it was. Hopefully, we are going to have a further update from him after we get the results of that appointment. But we are certainly coveting the thoughts and prayers of everybody out there for Bob Dixon. It's been, me and Blaine and Michael were talking about this on Thursday night. It's been tough for the Air 2003 community this last year or so. Of course, losing Robbie Nisus, Wiley Coate, most recently David Cannon. A lot of drivers having some things happen in their personal lives as well. A couple of days ago, I should say, we ended up finding out that Pat McCarsky, his wife, passed away. Richard Martin, we saw him pick up an incredible victory this past Thursday night on Fuel Strategy in the Talladega Challenge Series. That marked the 6-month anniversary of his wife passing away. So it's been tough in the community here this last year or so, and so we are certainly hoping for the best possible outcome and result from that follow-up appointment for Bob Dixon. But great to see him here tonight.
And we're just getting too many times getting news like that. It's just hate hearing that every time. And
certainly
thoughts and prayers definitely go out to Bob Dixon. He actually, the very first race that I did with you guys here on FRN, he actually won that race.
That's right, he did.
The Tally Challenge a couple seasons back here earlier this year. So, man, it's hard to hear.
Of course, as well, a great driver, but also for broadcasters, always look forward to, at the end of those races, getting to hear those factoids of who ends up turning those fastest laps, who gets the most laps led, all those statistics that, normally we end up being able to give the bare bones of what's going on statistically, and he's got that program that allows him to delve a little bit deeper and give that information of what happened during the course of the race at the conclusion. So, love having those factoids here. And so, again, as we said, coveting the thoughts and prayers out there for Bob Dixon and his family as well. Zero's on the clock. We are moments away from happy hour concluding, getting these drivers gridded up. 31 drivers going to take the green flag here tonight. Again, 66 laps of racing. This is your first time tuning in to one of these races. Fuel window roughly around 19 laps. We'll see some drivers be able to stretch it 20 laps if they are able to save during the course of a run. If you're Bob Dixon, you're probably pitting around lap 17. He's usually our benchmarker as to when those pit stops are going to be taking place. He's usually a couple laps prior than everybody else.
That strategy's working before too. So.
It has. It really has. And one of the interesting thing about that, I've noticed more and more drivers actually adopting that strategy as well. It always used to be Bob came down pit road by himself, but I think I've seen in the past Mike Mangialardi, Pat McCarskey, Robert Spring, they've all come down pit road on the same lap as Bob Dixon. So they're drivers that have taken notice that that strategy sometimes works out, and they've applied it to their racing strategy as well.
And plus, you come down pit road by yourself or with very few cars, the less of a chance of there being a big crash coming to pit road. So, I mean, there's a lot of benefits to it.
Absolutely. Got fellow broadcaster Jack Mitchell in our chat. Jack celebrating his birthday here. Trying to catch us old geezers, but unfortunately, we're always going to stay one step ahead of him here.
We try to slow down, but it just doesn't work.
Yep. What's that song? If I Could Turn Back Time?
Yeah, that would be nice.
But a happy birthday to Jack, as we got the command to fire them up, and we will have them rolling off of pit road here. 2.66 miles around Talladega Nights Super Speedway before we turn them loose. Just to let everybody know, next week there will be no broadcasts for FRN. Wednesday night's Aero 88 Series, Thursday night's Talladega Challenge Series, and Saturday night's Shake and Bake Series are all off for Thanksgiving week, so we will not be broadcasting next week. Our coverage will resume a week from this coming Wednesday to continue on the Aero 88 Series for Rolling Thunder Gaming, and we will have the subsequent broadcasts on Thursday and Saturday night as well. So everybody enjoy your holiday and Thanksgiving. Wonderful time with friends and family, and we will see you guys in a week's time as we continue on these respective schedules for both Rolling Thunder Gaming and Talladega Nights. Tomorrow night, if you would like to, tune into Tarnation TV. Blaine Donlin, Rod Weston, they're going to be covering the second race of the new season for the ASR Super Sundays Super Speedway Series. Air 88 cars under the lights at Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway. So be sure to join them for that. I believe the green flag flies around 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And if you tune into that, be sure to cheer on my broadcast partner here, as he will be in that race.
I will more than likely be the car upside down, but I had a great time with the guys a couple weeks ago when we ran an exhibition race. The car, the track, the setup, it's a lot of fun. It's really racy. So we covered for Tarnation TV. They were doing the, I believe it was the Hezzy Hardy Memorial for Bomb Squad Racing last Sunday night. But yep, going to be getting behind the wheel for the remainder of the season. So looking forward to that one. You got to join me, Kyle. It's Aero 88 cars. Come on, you're the throwback guy.
That is a mod I've always wanted to run. So, man, it's very tempting. I will say that.
I've been wrecked by just about everybody in the NR community. I don't think I've been wrecked by you yet.
We
got to check that off the list.
I'm sure we've gotten together a time or two. It's been a while since I've been out there, so I can't really remember all of that. But
well, here we go. Race number 6, green here tonight. This will be the precursor race to set us up for that regular season finale in a couple weeks' time.
Notice there was a car at the very end of the field. It looked like the 9 car. I don't know why he was way back there. It looked like don't know if he was wanting to get a running start or something. He's with the pack now, but it looked like he was way back there right when they got the green flag.
Looks like he is latched onto the tail end of the pack and good to go. I did notice as well a handful of drivers jumped up to that third lane just after they crossed the start-finish line. I think Bob Sire, Blaine Donlin were some of them, trying to see if maybe as they were getting these engines up to full song, if they could take advantage of that clear lane on the high side. Now looks like Sire may be the only one up there. He'll start free-falling unless he can get some numbers with him.
Kelly Causey's going to lead lap number 1. Boy, something got really squirrely on the outside there, but able to save it.
Would have been the 23 of Doug Hewlick. And that blue Yeti Toyota Camry. we've single filed out here at the front of the field already. What's that? 7, 8 cars all single file in the middle groove. Mark Paglia was leading an inside line contingency, and now he kind of looks in his rearview mirror. There was nobody there. He had to drift all the way back to around 9th position to find Steven Brandstetter.
Second spot right there. That is Rodney Sollins, isn't it?
It's Ken Roberts. Rodney
Ken
tonight,
Roberts.
that was a shocker when they were listing off the starting lineup tonight. Rodney Sollins was the last driver on time. Back, I think it was in the 23rd or 24th position. So either he had a mistake on his qualifying lap or something. We normally see him qualify up here at the front. I believe he's a two-time pole sitter on this season, but that's the deepest he's ever started in the field this season so far.
Him and Ken Roberts, I've noticed, always seem to be qualified toward the front right there. So they've got qualifying figured out. And like you mentioned, not really sure what happened to Rodney Sollins tonight, but these are two drivers that, usually expect to see qualifying up front.
Mentioned no Jeffrey Elliott in the field here tonight. He just popped up in our chat here. Good to see you, Jeffrey. Hopefully we see you on track in a couple of weeks' time here for this regular season finale. Jeffrey, one of the 5 former winners so far this season. May go 6 for 6 here tonight. We'll have to wait and see. Right now, the highest running of the former winners would be that 88, that blue and orange NOS Energy Dodge Charger in the 3rd position. Grant Wesley, who picked up the victory last week.
Yeah, we only have three of those winners in the field here tonight.
Correct.
Mentioned Jeffrey Elliott not in the field. The other winner was Jessica Lorley, who won, I believe, week number 2.
Yes.
Of course, she stepped away from full-time racing, so...
Yeah, the aforementioned Sullins, as well as Denny Carroll, the other 2 drivers, along with Wesley, the former winners in the field tonight.
So yes, very good chance of another first-time winner here tonight, but man, everyone's going single file already. It looks like the first side-by-side battle is well outside the top 10.
About 17th, 18th position, second half of the field. And as soon as you say something, there goes Craig Hagley up to the outside. It always is that way, right? We always point out they're single file, and then it's like the drivers hear us and like, oh yeah, watch this.
Yeah, let's create some excitement here.
Oh man, they're not 3 wide. Let's see if they go 3 wide here off of turn 4. Oh, they're trying in the back.
Our luck, they'll go 4 wide.
Track can hold it. It's not exactly advised, but the track can hold it. Normally when we see 4 wide, it's normally if they're in a 3 wide situation and they're coming around a lap-up machine. Normally at full song, we don't really see 4 wide up in a lead group.
Greg Palmer saw that outside line come and jumped up in front of him right there. He's going to lead this group for the time being. See if anybody else wants to jump up to that outside line or if they're content running, I guess, in the middle right now.
That was an interesting area of the racetrack, too. We normally don't see a driver move up to try and toe that second lane in the middle of the corner. Normally it's on the entry or off the exit, and it kind of stifled them out a little bit there. You see Chris Van Vliet looked like he was going to get freight trained, but because they weren't able to really organize with that move through the center of the corner, he was able to clear them all and still stay latched on, holding on to that 7th position.
They're making some headway on that outside line. That line not as doesn't look to be as long as it was here a lap ago, but still making some progress.
And a big reason why we're not seeing them make as much progress as we would think, it's a more slower methodical, is because the line they're trying to pass is running the middle groove. If they were down on the bottom, we would probably see the 22, the 28, the 82 have a major surge down the straightaways. But because they're taking a longer way around the racetrack and the line they were trying to pass can stay in the throttle longer, being in the middle groove, it's a little bit more of a task to try and work their way by. And you saw that trio there move up to that outside line as well.
And now we have a group on the bottom led by the 21 of Randy Watt Luigi.
He's got that prominently on that rear deck lid of his Dodge. Trying to make out, that's RJ Cabana actually behind him in the 889. Robert Breedlove in the 931. Right now, that's the battle for the 6th position. Randy alongside of Craig Hagley's 82.
It's like a Dale Jr. throwback as of sort there behind the 21.
Yep. National Guard sponsorship there. Mentioned about Rodney Sullivan's qualifying outside of the top 20. Hasn't taken him long to work his way up here to the front. Tire tracks of Dennis McCarthy last time by scored in 11th, and more than likely with the line he's in will be up inside the top 10 the next time they come around the start-finish line. 3 wide further back here. Katie Huntsbury, that New York Yankees Chevrolet up on the top side with the Cadillac of Bob Sire, the Toyota of Ulysses Sandoval.
Yeah, so much for all that single file racing.
Right? Well, one of the things with the single file racing, if you're up at the front, you love it. If you're at the back of the pack, you get bored. You get these runs, you get this momentum, you want to take it someplace. It's against a driver's nature to hold back. When you have that momentum, you want to go somewhere.
Absolutely. You want to race. You don't want to just ride around and do nothing. You want to go out there and have some fun.
Still trying to get that inside line going here. Believe he's lost a spot, has Randy Wall on that inside line. McCarthy now pulling up alongside of him in the 024. Though while they are losing a spot here and there every lap on that inside line, we're more than halfway through a fuel run. So they would have the easier access to the inside line in preparation for green flag pit stops, whereas drivers up on the top side there, like the 024, the 38, the 40, they'd have to either try and hope they could find a space in line down there on the inside in the next 5 laps or so, or maybe if there's a driver to their inside that's coming to pit lane, maybe come to pit road double file. We've seen it before. It doesn't always work out because sometimes you have drivers behind you in the racing groove that are planning on going the extra lap, but sometimes it works. Low percentage, but sometimes.
It's been all Kelly Causey so far. Started on the poles, led every lap of it. He's had Ken Roberts right behind him for the entire time.
And it's interesting, too, because we named off a list of drivers that are just below the 12th in the standings cut line. With one good race, they could work their way up into the top 12 here tonight. But then there's another list of drivers that are mathematically out of advancing through one race, but with 2 good races, which they have available here tonight and 2 weeks from tonight in the regular season, they could point their way to the top 12. Kelly Causey is a driver on that list. He came into tonight 19th in the standings, 44 points out of the top 12. So right now, as you said, leading this race, trying to rack up maybe the bonus point for most laps led. And if he can close out the evening with max points with a victory, very conceivable chance that he could end up in this race and the regular season finale, pointing his way into a playoff position. And if I recall correctly, I don't believe Kelly has made all the races this season either.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either, but that's probably the game plan that he has here for tonight. Go out there, lead the most laps if you can, try to win the race if you can. Well, he's looking good so far, but it is early.
Rodney Sullivan has now jumped down to that inside line. We got his father, Al, in our chat. Says, let's go to the front, and in big capital letters, no pit road speeding tickets. That was a big problem for Rodney Sullivan this past Thursday night. Got a black flag for speeding under a caution cycle of pit stops, and then on the final green flag pit stop cycle as well. So he may end up running 54 miles per hour on pit road tonight just to make absolutely sure that the speeding police don't nail him.
I mean, that's better than speeding. So.
Yes, sir. It's interesting, too, how sometimes it just takes that one car when a line's not moving. It just takes that one car to move down or up, and all of a sudden the momentum builds and they start charging their way forward. We saw the 21 of Randy Wall leading that inside line. They were starting to fall back. Now with Rodney jumping down to the inside, they're making that ground back up.
Looks like they're pretty well organized, at least the first 3 or 4 cars in that inside line. They have a little bit of distance back to that white and green car. I forget who that is there, but
Chris Van Vliet.
Yes. And as soon as you say that, you see, I believe that was Javier Negron that just jumped down right there in front of him. And the 28 thinking about getting in front, yes. So.
Yep, everyone's migrating to the bottom now. We've gotten into that around 5 laps to pit stops mark. Ooh, Grant Wesley. I don't know if he moved up there on his own or if he got shuffled out by Greg Palmer, but he's going to get freight trained here. And for those wondering, we're seeing these cars doing a little shimmy side to side here. They are not warping. This is not what the drivers are seeing. I don't know what it is at super speedways especially, but the cars, when they go into the corners, they like to do that little side to side shimmy there. So that's on our end. That is not what the drivers are seeing, and it's a universal problem, it seems, for broadcasters. I wish there was a way to fix that, but to my knowledge, I don't think there is.
Certainly made me nervous the first time I saw them do that.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
thinking, boy, I hope they're being awfully careful there. But nope, it's all good on their part, thankfully. Grant Wesley right there leading that outside line you mentioned, the most recent winner in this series. 2 weeks ago, won one of the most exciting races that I've seen in quite some time in the Talladega Challenge. 3-wide finish at the line there. I believe he won by just 2 1/1000ths of a second. So got some momentum going into this race.
It's going to be a lot of scenarios surrounding him in the next Talladega Challenge Series race as well. He is going to be at the Dirt Nationals in a couple of weeks' time, and he will not be there on Thursday night in the elimination race to advance to the Final Four. Now, he had a second-place run this past Thursday night, finished just 1 spot behind Richard Martin on that fuel strategy race finish. He's hoping that's going to be enough points. He's also going to get a provisional. He's hoping that's going to be enough points for him to advance into the Final Four. So while he'll be enjoying the Dirt Nationals, I think he's going to be on pins and needles, probably tuned in as well in a couple of weeks to our FRN Tarnation TV simulcast to see if indeed he will be battling for a championship. And an apology to Grant Wesley as well. He and I had a little conversation, I believe it was yesterday. I called him a 3-time champion on Thursday nights, remembering back to when he had 3 championships during the course of 4 straight seasons. You would think those championships, I believe, were back as we got pit stops here, so I'll get to that point in a minute. We'll make sure these drivers get on safely.
And Jacob Banna locking them up. I think he just barely got in there.
Did he get it wound up?
Awfully
It could be
close.
the question. Denny Carroll, Chris Van Vliet, Bob Dixon, Gary Heiser. I mentioned a lot of drivers come down with Bob Dixon now. Cabana, Breedlove, and Randy Waugh. But those 3 championships for Grant Wesley, I believe they were between seasons 58 and 61, I want to say. His most recent championship was season 64, 2 seasons ago. You would think I'd remember that one. That was the one I forgot.
Huh. To say, I know he won one of them here recently. Comes the second round of
And
leaders
it's
coming
a
out.
bigger
A lot
one.
of them.
Oh, boy.
This is where it can get dangerous here. Let's see. A little bit of contact there between Roberts and Palmer. Look, everybody keeps it together, though.
So Rodney Sullivan's 3 wide there, but he's got one of those early pit stalls because of the slower qualifying result. Kind of works out for him in a sense there. The ability to have a lower lane coming into pit road.
Looks like it was a clean entry for everybody there. No incidents so far.
Keep an eye on the 72 of Blaine Donlin. I'm going to be curious to see if he can make it another lap here to get around. He was going to come to pit road with that pack the last time by. Nearly made contact and was kind of forced out of coming to pit lane, so that's why he's as far back as he is.
Comes looks like the rest of them here. Craig Hadley. I believe that's Terry Bombard right there, the 110. Ulysses Sandoval, Brian Rawson.
John Godfrey, who started shotgun on the field.
And there's Blaine coming down pit road.
Yeah, so it looks like he's going to make it around to pit lane, but he lost a lot of ground to the pack. So he will more than likely be in danger of falling a lap down. Not too long after this pit stop cycle is complete, he will certainly be needing a caution, and we saw RJ Cabana lock him up there when he came to pit lane, made the commitment cone, but did not get it woed up to pit road speed. There you see him top of your screen coming back in to serve the speeding penalty.
I was more concerned about him actually making it, at the commitment cone instead of speeding, but seems like we see it every race, at least one speeding penalty for somebody. And
oh, interesting. I thought it was just on our end, but one of the guys that's actually out there piloting a car tonight, Bob Sire, said the server is a little bit warpy, so maybe it wasn't just on our end. And Al Sullen says for a minute, he thought them cars shaking was his Saturday night adult beverage.
well,
no, that actually straightens them out.
Yeah, I mean, that just...
It's funny, Jess and I normally will regale. There was a guy that we used to race with, Shane Sides, and whenever he had an adult beverage before a race, we always knew that he was going to drive clean. Never caused a wreck. never caused a wreck when he had one. When he was sober, then you had to worry.
God, that is very concerning right there.
Well, I mean, more than likely you drive a little bit more carefully because you think you're always 3 wide.
No, that's a very good point. It's like the pit stops, though, have broken up the field quite a bit here. And you mentioned those. You mentioned, this couple of drivers out there in danger of going a lap down. This race has had a green flag look to it. I mean, obviously, you haven't had a caution yet, and just the way things are going right now, I wouldn't want to be in their position right now.
Right now, looks like 4 drivers ended up having either slow pit stops or, in the case of RJ Cabana, the pass-through penalty. You saw just up ahead on the same straightaway now as the race leader, Chris Van Vliet, Bob Sire, RJ Cabana, who we just mentioned, and Blaine Donlin. Those drivers right now a long ways back from the field. They are all currently at least half a lap down. So they will definitely be needing a yellow to catch back up here and have a shot at winning this race here tonight. Looks like, off of scoring's last indicator, that we have a total of 15 drivers in this lead pack with a chance of adding in another 6. Denny Carroll is kind of the bridge between the first pack and the second pack. He had just caught up to Brian Rawson, and you see right behind him, Gary Heiser back to Grant Wesley. They were able to get the slipstream of the 41, so it looks like all of these drivers back to around 20th position will be in the lead pack after this cycle.
Denny Carroll going to go to the bottom, take the 3 car with them, see if they can make up any ground on that bottom line.
I wonder what happened to Grant Wesley on that pit stop. Normally we end up seeing him on the plus side of spots gained after a cycle, but just barely able to latch on to the tail end of the draft here. We talk about it all the time. There's so much to cover during green flag pit stops. Unfortunately, we can't have the camera in multiple places at once. We'll normally watch them come down pit road, but a lot of stuff happens between that point and leaving pit road. There can be contact that takes place, drivers getting into each other, leaving and entering their pit stalls. A lot of things where we see drivers that are running up front but not necessarily cycling out to that can be indicative of those things that we aren't necessarily able to capture. So Causey leads the way. Rodney Sullivan, so far so good. No speeding penalties. Whoa, was that Alex Moe back there in the 48?
Yes, it was.
He was side to side there. That's why he just jumped out of line. He'll migrate his way back to the tail end of this group. Greg Palmer's worked his way up to third behind Rodney Sullins. Ken Roberts right now in fourth. Dennis McCarthy there, completing the top 5. It's RJ Cabana and Bob Sire up there on the top side that are about to go a lap down. Believe they would be battling right now to remain first 2 cars 1 lap down for the free pass position. Chris Van Vliet has already gone a lap down. He is in this pack there, so it'll be a 3-car fight for the 2 free pass positions, and then when and if they eventually catch the 72 of Blaine Donald, there'll be 4 drivers fighting for those 2 lucky dog positions. That's if we see a caution.
Got somebody going to the outside there. I believe that's a 21.
Only has Robert Breedlove with him in the field. Behind kind of got broken up. No other takers on that outside line, although top 5 up ahead of him moved up to that middle group, so that might help the 21, the 931. That might bring everybody off the bottom up to that middle line here into 1.
Got the 23 car leading that inside line. The only one he has there is, I believe it's the 40 car.
A couple of wrecking ball Toyota Camrys down there with Hewlick and Negron. Another teammate right there behind them in Ulysses Sandoval is Blaine Donlin, going to go a lap down here. Next drivers that the leaders would catch, I believe, is a group of 4. Well, about to be a group of 6. Chris Elliott, Rod Weston in the 74 here tonight. Katie Huntsbury, Stephen Brandstetter, they've now caught up here to Garland Oaks and Brian Wolf, so that'll make a half dozen in this pack, and they're running right now 13.5 seconds behind the race leaders. That's roughly about 25 seconds ahead of the lead pack, so it'll be a while before they would end up getting caught.
They're in decent shape right now.
Still need a caution, though, but not nearly in as bad shape as the single cars and the 2-car pack that we saw already get put a lap down at this point. Appreciate that, Al. Wish everybody as well a happy and safe Thanksgiving. Again, if you're just tuning in tonight, folks, next week there will be no FRN broadcasts, as our Wednesday night series, Thursday night series for Rolling Thunder Gaming, Saturday night series for Talladega Nights will all be off for the Thanksgiving week. We will resume as we migrate our way into the month of December. All 3 series, starting with the Wednesday night Aero 88 series for Rolling Thunder Gaming. 2 races still to go to determine a champion in that one. Southern National Motorsports Park next on tap for those drivers, as the gap between Jeff Supta, Grant Wesley with 4 wins each. 6 points with 2 races left to go.
That is perfectly fine with me, not having any broadcasts this week, as I will be working most of the day on Thursday and Thursday night, so works out perfectly.
Do you end up getting like a crowd, or do you get like parties there? For those who don't know, Kyle works at Scene 75.
Just an indoor entertainment center, so we get a lot of parties and some groups. I mean, just it varies.
Gotcha.
Can't really imagine us being real busy on Thanksgiving, but you never know.
Yeah. Now, I've seen people go to some very interesting places for Thanksgiving. I've seen people go to a bowling alley for Thanksgiving.
Huh.
It's Garland Oaks coming off of pit road
Yeah,
there.
not sure what happened there.
All by his lonesome. He was with this group here that was 6, now 5. And this is roughly about 6 to 7 laps sooner than when drivers were going to have to make their next round of pit stops. So I would certainly have to think that the stop was unscheduled. That's going to find Garland Oaks now 2 laps down and takes him, I'm sorry, correction, it'll put him actually 1 lap down. I believe it's going to take him out of a lucky dog spot as well, as Cabana, Sire, Donlin, and Vliet, who are all in this lead pack, will have already bypassed him.
I'm not really sure there if he spun out and didn't bring out the caution or something and decided to come down pit road, get 4 new tires a little bit early or what. But see how this plays out.
Oh, Bob Sire in our chat said he used to do 9-pin tap tourney turkey morning. That's right, I forgot that they actually do a lot of Thanksgiving tournaments at bowling alleys. 9-pin tap.
I heard there were bowling alleys that would use actual turkeys instead of a bowling ball.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I've heard some places. I don't know if places do that anymore, but I heard some places used to do something like that.
I know that our local bowling alley, I don't know if they did it on Thanksgiving or not, but you could win a turkey. I don't remember if it was if you won the tournament. I know there was cash prizes. I don't remember if it was if you won the tournament or if you rolled a turkey, you ended up actually getting a free turkey.
That I could see happening. That kind of promotion makes total sense.
Used to be part of a league that was 9-pin tap. Hey, if they're willing to give me a strike for only knocking down 9 pins, perfectly fine with me.
Absolutely.
About 4 laps away, we'll start seeing drivers migrating onto pit road again, and there's your indicator as you see most of the front of the field. Now coming down the banking from the middle groove down to that yellow line. A lot of times we'll end up seeing 2 different types of races. Sometimes we'll end up seeing a lot of parity with drivers taking turns at the front of the field, and other times we'll see a domination at the front of the field. Tonight has been the latter. Kelly Causey, in the 34 completed laps, has led 31 of them. The only other drivers that have had a chance to take a turn out in front, Ken Roberts and Craig Hagley, and that was during the cycle of green flag pit stops.
Makes me wonder how things are going to play out once we get, past all the pit stops. I don't know if everybody so far tonight's been pretty calm, hasn't done anything crazy, just kind of, letting the race go by, trying to stay up there, making their pit stop and everything, and it makes me wonder what's going to happen once we get all the pit stops out of the way.
We've already had one driver fall under the scrutiny of the speeding police this upcoming pit stop as we end up having the green flag cycles get closer and closer towards the end of the race, and we've already crossed halfway. You end up having drivers go maybe just a little bit extra, try to see if they can get a little bit more, and sometimes you overstep and end up costing yourself. We'll see here if we up the aggression onto pit road just a little bit more, or do we rein it back a little bit and realize that we still have, at this point in time, just a little under 30 laps to go. Caution's going to come out. Our first wreck of the night, and it's a big one in the center of 1 and 2. Breedlove right in the middle of it. Donlin is up and over as he barrel rolls down the banking. Godfrey, I believe, the 48 of Alex Moe and a number of others. 37 laps in, and our first caution of the night, Rawson is crunched.
Yeah, a lot of damage to the 6 car. That Mark Martin throwback has looked a lot better. No, nobody's done anything crazy. They're just going to be calm the whole time. Yeah, what do I know?
We're not going to call that one the commentator's curse. Let's see what happens here. Maybe some checkup on the inside line. Rawson was getting a big push from John Godfrey, and oh no, it happened ahead of them with the 931 of Robert Breedlove. Bob Dixon was involved in this. Looks like Bob Sire might have got some left side damage. I thought he actually used the wall to slow down and wasn't collected, but I think he did get a piece. And there's about a dozen drivers that were running over 10 seconds or more behind this pack that are breathing a sigh of relief now because they'll get a chance to catch back up and be a part of the conversation for this win in the remaining laps. Yeah, it just looks like they checked up on that bottom.
I think it was Denny Carroll that got in the back of Robert Breedlove. It didn't look like just a check up, chain reaction kind of deal there.
21 of Randy Waugh was up ahead. We'll take a look here from the chopper cam. Watch the space in between the cars here, how it's going to accordion up as they make their way into the entry. Breedlove on the back of Randy Waugh, Carroll on the back of Breedlove. Oh, yeah, well, yep, you get to see right there. Maybe a little lift by the 21. 931's into the back of him.
See the accordion effect there, and Wayne Donovan went for a very wild ride there.
I honestly thought we've seen it before where a driver will kind of barrel roll over the top of another driver and they connect. I thought he might end up flipping the 931 over as well as he was barrel rolling across his roof. Let's go on board with the 931. This should be quite some interesting footage courtesy of Breedlove.
That was a nice save by Randy Waugh right there. You can see him get sideways, but able to hang on to it.
Hi, Blaine. See Alex Moe there in the 48. I think he got a hit from behind by Garland Oaks. That's what involved him in this wreck. One driver I did not, in all of that, and maybe it was there and I just didn't notice it, was how Brian Rawson got involved. Let's see if we can focus on the 6, because he had a ton of damage. Kind of got sandwiched up there with John Godfrey.
He was looking okay until right there.
Kind of late hit from Godfrey as well right there, as Godfrey came back down off the banking of turn 2.
That just totally pancaked the right side of that car. Looked like he was okay until that hit right there. So can't imagine that car would still be up to speed, but crazy things have happened in races like this. You think the car is totally destroyed, and next thing you know, they're right up there in the picture for a potential win. So we'll see how this goes.
It's always a wait and see as to whether a driver is still going to be able to remain competitive or not. Dennis McCarthy going to get himself a lap lead as he'll hit pit road with Cabana, Vliet, Bob Sire. Yeah, he said in our chat, right side caved in on that 27. You could see it right there on his Cadillac. Had another driver come down pit road with this group too. Oh, Rod Weston's in. There's Rawson, Ulysses Sandoval. Going to turn the lead over, I believe, to the 38 of Rodney Sullins, who was first off of pit road. Blaine Donlin, Garland Oaks out there. Looks like, let's see what it looks like when they come around here. From the aerial view, it looked like there may have been roof damage on the 72 after that barrel roll, but now I don't think I see roof damage on that car. Obviously, the back end's bent up a bit, so it's a wait and see for him.
That car looks really good for getting upside down.
It certainly does. I mean, the one good thing for him is when he left the accident scene, wasn't trailing smoke, so the engine might be okay. Aero will maybe be a little bit of a concern, but the engine might still be at full song. You're going to see the 889 and the 10, Cabana and Vliet coming up here on the outside line. They were the first two cars one lap down when that caution came out, so they'll get the free pass. Garland Oaks was 2 laps down when the caution came out. He will be taking the wave around to get back on the lead lap. And it looks like Blaine Donlin did not come to pit road. He's going to elect to take the wave around as well to get back on the lead lap. So after that barrel roll, unless he comes to pit road this time by. If he does take the wave around, that would be taking no service after flipping from the high groove down to the bottom over in the center of 1 and 2. And it looks like he's indicating he's coming down pit road this time. For those wondering, as we see Craig Hagley make a dive onto pit road here, note these drivers cannot make it the rest of the way from this point on fuel. We'll more than likely get the lights out this time by. If we do go back green next time around, we're looking at about 6 laps short of making it to the finish. Roughly around lap 60 is when the final pit stop would have to take place if we run this upcoming restart green to the finish.
Excellent pit work there for Rodney Solins to get the lead up off of those pit stops right there. That's about the only way. That is the only way anybody's been able to get around Kelly Causey so far tonight. But he's going to be restarting on the outside, so we'll see how this restart goes.
Yeah, all Causey has to do is lead one more lap, and he's got the bonus point for most laps locked up. He's led half the race, 33 laps. So if he leads at 34th, nobody is going to be able to top him. Actually, I think we could probably give him the lap-led bonus point right now, because with the fact that we have had a few other drivers out in front, Sullins, Hagley, Roberts, I don't think that anybody could lead even the rest of this race and be able to get that bonus point. I mean, from this point on, when we get the green, we're talking about, 25 laps. If Sullins led all those, that'd be 28 laps. So yeah, Causey's already got the bonus point locked up here, but would like to cap it off with his first victory on the season. Greg Palmer's going to line up in 3rd, Roberts in 4th, Mark Paglia will be in 5th. He's the highest Ford, highest Toyota will be Doug Kulik in 6th, Javier Negron, Randy Waugh, Britt Wesley, and Denny Carroll going to be the top 10. We will have, looks like 27 drivers on the lead lap. All 30 drivers that took the green flag to start tonight's race are still running. Blaine Donlin, Bob Sire, Garland Oaks will be fighting for potential future free pass positions here, as it will be a 25 laps to go mark here for Rodney Sullins, who gets us back underway here tonight.
Sullins gets a good restart right there. Got a good push there from Greg Palmer, but now Palmer goes to the outside right in front of Causey. He wants to lead this thing.
Edged out by half a car length going into 3, inside line, charges back. Little space between Sullins and Paglia. That's going to help that middle groove, as Palmer will clear for the top position. This will be his first lap led of the night, with help from Causey and Roberts. Fanned out 3 wide, a little further back there, now settled out to double wide. Looks like the 72 of Blaine Donlin still up to speed. Bob Sire on the top of a 3 wide situation. Trying to find the 67. There he is, Garland Oaks. Yeah, looks like everybody is still up in this lead group despite some pretty heavy hits we saw in that only caution of the night.
Whoa.
Well, I say that, and we've got another, and this is a big one with several cars upside down, including Javier Negron. That's Terry Bombard in the background there, barrel rolling in the grass. I also saw, I believe, the 66 of Katie Huntsbury get up and over. Alex Moch trying to flip Javier Negron back on his wheels so he doesn't have to call a tow.
And does it.
Wow, look at the damage, though, on the roof of that car. Even flipping him back on his wheels, that car may be done for the night. I think just about every side of that race car got hit.
It's amazing he's able to drive the car back.
See that
A lot
black
of smoke coming
trailing
out of Huntsbury right there.
Yep. That was one of the other 3 cars I saw get upside down. The other one was Terry Bombard, who I believe he's actually not even driven his car back to pit lane. I think he's done for the night. I'm also seeing Mark Paglia out of the race, so he must have taken a massive hit in that wreck.
There were a number of massive hits in that wreck.
Yes, sir. Second caution of the night, and this was a big one in every sense of the word. Let's try to figure out where this started.
First car I saw go around was the 40. I'm not sure if that was. Let's see right here. No, it's a 28.
28 with a little help from the 40 of Negron, and man, I mean, those are some big shots. Very quickly from the bottom lane up to the outside wall.
Counted 4, maybe 5 cars that got upside down in that wreck.
Oh, Steven Brandstetter, I didn't see him. Crumpled up as he is. He was smoking leaving the scene as well. And Steven was one of those drivers coming into tonight that was hovering just below the cut line. Or no, he was just above the cut line. Correction. 4 points to the good coming in tonight in the 11th position. Watch these hits. Watch how quickly these cars shoot from the bottom to the top. There's just no reaction time.
No time. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Dennis
no
McCarthy,
time to prepare,
Brian
no time
Wolf,
to...
Craig Hagley. It's a long list. Let's see who maybe can give us a good shot of what took place. I know that the 6 of Brian Rawson was back behind this, and I think he got through. This is what the Valvoline Chevrolet saw.
Oh, man.
Wow, look at this. Wow, oh my goodness. As they say in super speedway racing, you gotta be good and you gotta be lucky, and Brian was a little bit of both right there.
Some of the best wreck avoidance I've seen in quite some time.
It's another look at it here. Yeah, to your point, nearly a half dozen drivers either on their sides or all the way around, and it has taken 3 drivers out of the race. Blue ovals, all of them. Mark Paglia, Terry Bombard, and Steven Brandstetter. That's going to give us a lot to talk about when we come back here to cover the regular season finale in a couple of weeks' time, because we mentioned no Jeffrey Elliott in the field here tonight, who was 9th in points. Brandstetter out of the race, 11th in points. And badly damaged in that wreck, Brian Wolf, who came in the cut line driver. The drivers above, on, below the cut line coming in may look very different once everything is calculated this evening going into that final regular season race.
Boy, this race has been a tale of 2 halves. The very first half of the race, it was pretty calm. Everybody, minding their P's and Q's, just, taking it easy. And once we got past the halfway point, we've had 2 fairly good-sized wrecks within, not even 10 laps of each other. So the intensity is definitely building.
It definitely is, for sure. This caution takes out 3 drivers as mentioned. It'll put 2 more drivers back on the lead lap. Blaine Donlin and I believe Garland Oaks. No, I believe it's Bob Sire were the first 2 drivers 1 lap down when that caution came out. So I believe they are going to be the free pass machines That will have us with 26 drivers on the lead lap. I believe Garland Oaks is going to be the lone driver, a lap down on this upcoming restart. Another interesting thing here as well, I'm fairly certain that this caution has gotten us in the window to make it the rest of the way. Everybody was on pit road. They're obviously saving fuel, clutching here under pacing. We're going to go green with less than 20 to go. We should have enough to get to the conclusion of this race, but it will be interesting to see if maybe anybody for added insurance come to pit road here to top off. Looks like Causey might be doing just that here as he puts his car down below the dotted yellow line, and yeah, he's coming in, giving up the race lead to do so. Some others towards the back doing the same, including Rod Weston, Chris Elliott, Alex Moe, RJ Cabana, Dennis McCarthy, and others. Little interesting strategy there out of the 00. Most everybody else electing to pit the first time round and then save the fuel here. He elects to pit when the window is open to make it the rest of the way, gives up all that track position to do so.
It's going to be interesting to see if he can work his way back up there. Seeing how, how dominant he's been tonight, been up front. We haven't really seen him back in traffic, so it's going to be fun to watch.
We'll see our lucky dog drivers coming around here in just a moment. Number of drivers that we saw get massive hits in that wreck still out here on the racetrack, but 66 of Katie Huntsbury, he's still got that roof damage. Brian Wolf pretty bent up on the back end. The 40 of Javier Negron, it looks like they've done a pretty good job of banging out the sheet metal of that race car, but I will be very surprised if that car is up to speed. A lot of drivers now just kind of almost in salvage mode. Maybe you end up getting lucky, you have another big wreck, more drivers get involved and able to maybe vulture your way, pick up some spots in the closing stages. We will more than likely have quite a number of drivers off the pace once they get up to full song. Looks like the two lucky dog drivers will not go around to get their laps back. They'll get the laps added back manually here when we go back green, since we got the lights out on the pace car, and it would probably take a little too much time for them to have to turn a lap around the racetrack before going green, not be able to get caught up in time. So we'll keep an eye on scoring, let you know if indeed the two free pass cars do get their laps added back, as Greg Palmer gets ready to put us back under the green. Greg coming in tonight 14th in points. A lot of drivers ahead of him in the standings up above the cut line have had some issues here tonight, including Brandstetter and Wolf. So a big opportunity for Palmer, if not to win, to point his way into the top 12 with only one race remaining in the regular season. He and Ken Roberts will be the front row as we go back racing here with officially 19 laps to go.
Oh, somebody lost it right there in the back.
And caution's going to come out immediately. Bob Sire, Dennis McCarthy. Oh, did the engine let go on the 27? Or did that smoke come from him maybe going up and over? Because there's now roof damage on that car.
I mean, that happened like it looked like right after they crossed the line, so I'm not really sure if somebody not get going on that restart or what.
Oh, it was the 66 of Katie Huntsbury in that middle line with that roof damage. We knew he wasn't going to be up to speed, and he kind of backed everybody up. 024 of Dennis McCarthy gets turned up into the path of Bob Sire, who goes for a wild ride. You might have to break out the flip counter again, Kyle.
I believe we're at like 6 or 7, maybe.
Focus on the 024. You see the 66 in the middle lane, and I think Dennis realized that that middle line had the slower car, tries to pull up in front of Blaine Donlin. Little bumper grab there, gets into Bob Sire, and a lot of damage on that U.S. Army Cadillac. And this was the caution that Kelly Causey did not want to see. We mentioned him giving up a lot of track position to come down pit lane when the fuel window opened. He was banking on, if this thing went green to the end, that these drivers up at the front might be in a bit of a predicament on whether they were going to make it on fuel or not. He was not in that boat. Now with this caution, they can save more fuel, and this should see them clear to making it to the end on what they've got in the tank.
It looks like Kelly Causey is just outside the top 10, if I counted that correctly. So
13th last time by for the 00. So while Palmer and the rest of the field await the pace cars, lights to go out, turn us loose as we'll get the restart with less than 15 laps to go, it looks like. This caution will put Blaine Donlin back on the lead lap, so all remaining drivers, 27 of them, will be on the same lap as the leader, Greg Palmer. We appreciate everybody tuning into our coverage here tonight. Again, if you're just joining us, this will be our last broadcast for the month of November. Next week, our Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday night broadcasts will not be taking place, as all those series will be off for the Thanksgiving week. We will resume the first Wednesday of December. All three series that we cover on a weekly basis for Rolling Thunder Gaming and Talladega Nights. I want to wish everybody a happy and safe Thanksgiving, whether you're traveling or going to be at home with friends and family. Looks like Bob Sire is done for the night. After that wild ride over in turn 1, he's going to get credited for the 27th position here this evening. So, tough night for that Cadillac. I'm not sure if this series, I can maybe double check and see if there's something about it. I don't know if this series gives out points for winning the regular season championship in regards to when the playoff standings are put together. But we talked about the word consistency. And obviously that is a big thing in this series, since it is not a win you're in playoff system. And Denny Carroll has been super consistent here this season. Has a victory a few weeks ago. Currently coming into tonight leading the points, but not only leading the points, he's got 40 points back to Rodney Sullins. You don't normally hear of that big of a points gap at a super speedway series, so that definitely shows, with Rodney Sullins being a former winner, just what Denny Carroll has been able to do in the weeks that he has not parked that Chevelle in victory lane.
And he's looking like he's going to put together another solid night. I mean, granted, we still have a decent amount of laps left in this race, but you see him right there. He's the third car on the inside line there, that number 41. It's been extremely impressive. I mean, how anybody could be that consistent in a super speedway series, which is, you know, as we all know, super speedway racing is the most unpredictable form of racing out there. And he's able to just put himself, you know, really in a position to either win or get a good finish every single week. I mean, that is extremely impressive.
I have to chuckle, too. We talked about coming into tonight, the odds seemed likely of us having a sixth different winner on the season. The three former winners on the season, look where they're all at. Second, third, fourth on that inside line. Wesley, Carroll, and Sullins. They're trying to beat the odds tonight.
Well, they got some hungry drivers up there to contend with. Greg Palmer, Ken Roberts, Ulysses Sandoval. That's somebody we haven't really talked about a whole lot tonight here. And typical Ulysses fashion, he puts himself right there in contention to win this thing when it truly counts. So
21 of Randy Waugh right there as well. We've seen him top 10 car all night long, and you also have a couple of drivers that were right in the middle of the first wreck of the night. Robert Breedlove, John Godfrey. Looks like they may still be up to speed and competitive. Godfrey right now going to restart in 8th. Breedlove there in 9th. And Doug Kulik in the 10th position. It's also going to be interesting to see. We end up having a number of drivers after we had that first cycle of pit stops complete get put a lap down. Garland Oaks has since gotten back on the lead lap. Same for RJ Cabana. It'll be interesting to see what those drivers are able to do now that they're back on the lead lap. Blaine Donlin, you're going to see right there as the lights go out. He will go up through the gears, go around, get his lap back. Putting all 26 remaining drivers on the same lap as the leader, Greg Palmer. Somebody just came off pit road there. Well, that was Javier Negron. Looks like they're trying to do a little bit of extra TLC for that Tide ride. You mentioned tale of two races. First half of the race, clean and green. Came down to execution on pit road. Since then, 2 massive wrecks, bringing out back-to-back cautions. Our most recent wreck, a 2-car incident over in turn 1. 3 total yellow flags here tonight. And now that we're good to make it on fuel and pit road is no longer a factor, that may be a continuing trend here, which, you look back to, those drivers back around that area. We're talking about Kelly Causey, dominant here tonight, led a race high 35 laps so far. Drivers outside of the top 10 is now go time for those drivers, just in case we end up seeing a couple more yellows between now and the checkers and end up running a number of these final laps under pacing rather than under green.
Absolutely. I mean, the way this race is going, talked about the intensity picking up. For somebody like Kelly Causey sitting, 13th right now? After being up front this whole race, he's he's going to want to try to get up there as quickly as he can. So,
credit the pit crews here tonight. I'm looking back here, and a lot of good repair jobs on machines that were pretty crunched up during the course of this race. The hood's been beaten back down on the Valvoline Chevrolet of Brian Rawson. As he'll restart back in 15th. Mentioned about Godfrey and Breedlove. They were involved in a wreck earlier on. They're now up inside of the top 10. Still have a shot. Green flag waves once again. 14 laps away from the finish here tonight. Good to make it the rest of the way on fuel. Everything now is going to take place above that yellow line. As Greg Palmer, Grant Wesley, well, as soon as I say they were clear of the outside line, Palmer will actually move up there in front of Ken Roberts. He'll get that big push down the back straightaway. One of the interesting things too about this type of a format for the playoffs, no win in your in system, we're going to see here with this shot looking back, you can see all those stragglers, McCarthy, Rawson, Donlin, Negron, Wolf. They're off the pace, yes. Why are they still out there? Because points matter. You need to accumulate at least the 12th most points on the season at the end of the regular season finale to have a shot at running for the championship. So as long as the engine is still running, you are still out there trying to see if maybe you can improve the position you're in right now to when the checkered flag waves. Wow, that was some dicey moves right there. Randy Waugh dove in front of Grant Wesley, who then just barely squeezed up between Sandoval and Godfrey in the second lane.
and plus back to those, back to the straddlers that you were talking about. You never know. Everybody up here could wreck, and they could avoid the wreck and come out of here with a surprise victory.
Absolutely.
Not out of the question. So, there is a method to their madness for sure.
By John Godfrey, that orange 7-Eleven on that outside line. currently in the 5th position. Started shotgun on the field here tonight, so right now he would definitely be in line for the Hard Charger Award. I don't think they give that out in this series. But that'd be the driver that picked up the most spots from the start of the race to the finish of the race. Right now he would be, I believe, plus 26 from his starting position.
It's like mostly everybody is migrated to the middle groove right now.
It's looking an awful lot like our opening start of the race.
Rodney Solins is a lonely man right now. Got nobody behind him on that bottom line, and he's going to continue to fall back.
Might be able to find a place here right in front of Rod Weston. Nope, Weston's going to get a run to his outside.
Now Randy Waugh going to lead that outside line, try to get something going here. He's got, it's like 5 total cars behind him. Now Denny Carroll gets in front of him. Got less than 10 to go. These guys are not content.
Yeah, it was interesting. A couple of weeks ago, Denny Carroll, we saw him go to victory lane. Last week, basically told us in our chat his goal was to finish top 10, accumulate as many points as he could, open up the gap. He was able to do that. Comes into tonight's race, 40 points over his nearest competitor in Rodney Sullins. Got to wonder if the strategy differed here this evening. Is he still looking for points? Is he looking for a race victory? Maybe either or, depending on the situation. And that's the thing about being a driver, too. You can have a strategy coming in, but then by lap 10, it changes. By lap 20, it changes. The strategy always is constantly changing because, you know, with the unpredictability of super speedway racing, you never know which strategy is actually going to work out.
You know, it's kind of funny you mentioned that. I mean, when he got his win this season here, happened a couple of weeks ago, he told us after the race he was content pushing the 40 car that was in front of him. He was content to pushing him to the victory. But he said,
"Oh!"
I'll get back to that in a second. Another big wreck here.
Randy Waugh, RJ Cabana, they were trying to get by the slower car. Oh, big late hit for Brian Rawson. Rodney Sullins is in this. Causey's upside down. This migrated from the middle of 3 and 4 all the way to corner exit. They were trying to get by the slower car of KD Huntsbury, and contact was made. And a lot of late hits in this one, including a former winner on the season and the driver who led the most laps here tonight in Causey. And it's wrecks like this we were just talking about why those stragglers are still out here, even though they're off the pace.
Some more potential spots for those guys back there. And
let's see what exactly happens here, because it looked like they were only double wide when they were getting ready to pass the 66. And I don't know if the bumpers were uneven. Cabana gets into the right rear of Randy Waugh. Ahead of them, the 41 of Denny Carroll kind of migrated up the track. I don't know if that checked them up a little bit. Maybe our aerial shot will give us a better look. Because Huntsbury definitely was trying to get out of the way. He was actually up into the wall trying to get out of the way of these leaders. Oh, bumper grab off of Carroll for Randy Waugh, and that's how the 889 got into him.
saw more cars upside down in this wreck, too.
Yeah, that was just the first half of the wreck. A lot more happens further up. And I believe it starts with the 00 of Kelly Causey. He bumper grabs off the back of Chris Van Vliet. Big hit into the outside wall for him. Oh, and then here comes Huntsbury and Sullen sliding up the track into him as well. Looks like the buckle on the hood came back for the 6 of Brian Rawson, as he had a pretty big hit late. Take a look at his POV in a moment here. We're looking at Rodney Sullins, who gets into the back of Chris Elliott. There's Gary Heiser in the 3 involved, and then a little clip from Huntsbury sends Sullins up into the door of Causey. Ooh, a hit to the inside wall there, right side of the screen for Dennis McCarthy. I didn't see him in it, but he's got quite a bit of damage now, too.
By that last minute clip that Rodney Sullins took, those are the most frustrating ones when you feel like you got the wreck miss, and right at the last second, here comes a car out of nowhere. And Rawson thought he had it clear right there and just got into the back. That 88 car.
I believe that car went up and over. We just couldn't see it through that massive cloud of smoke. And we'll take a look at the hit to the inside wall for Dennis McCarthy, who is actually right behind Rawson. These were a number of the stragglers. Got a tap there, I believe, in the left rear quarter panel from Rawson that redirected him down into that Armco barrier. It's getting to the point now, it'll be easier to list off the drivers who haven't been involved in a wreck rather than those that have. Working our 4th caution of the night here. And we're going to get the restart with less than 10 to go. As a matter of fact, we're going to be quite close to that portion of the race we dubbed the point of no return, where the next flag could potentially end the race. Lights are actually still on the pace car, so we are going to go green no earlier than the completion of lap 62 onto 63. So that will actually put us into the point of no return. I was going to say, if we had no lap cars and had gone green next time by, we probably potentially could end up having a quickie yellow and a 1-lap shootout. But I think now we are definitely looking for our final restart of the night here. And more drivers since we last checked have retired from the race, including Rodney Sullins, Randy Waugh, RJ Cabana, Gary Heiser. They're going to now double the amount of drivers behind the wall, joining Bob Sire, Mark Paglia, Terry Bombard, and Steven Brandstetter. So for Rodney Sullins, has the victory on the season, won the season opener. It's obviously right now going to take him out of the conversation of winning the regular season championship, but he had a large enough points gap. I think he's going to be fairly safe, even with this DNF, of advancing into the playoffs. The drivers right now that I'm concerned about: Steven Brandstetter, out of the race, actually going to finish dead last tonight. Jeffrey Elliott not in the field, as we mentioned. And even Katie Huntsbury. I believe that this series uses the classic point system, not the current point system, the classic Winston Cup point system. And so as I look at Katie Huntsbury coming into tonight, a total of, I believe, 87 points above the cut line. While that may seem a lot when we think about today's current NASCAR point system, that's not exactly a safe margin with the classic point system. And
no, it's 175 points for winning, I believe.
Yeah. Now, Katie is still running. He is a lap down in the 22nd spot. But we'll have to see if... I think right now he would still be in the top 12 in points, but he came in tonight 6th in points. He could be hovering around that cut line by the time we get to next week, as he's going to go around, get the free pass. So this will be good for him to maybe improve on the 22nd spot that he is currently scored in. But these wrecks that we've seen here in the last 15-20 laps are also lessening the number of drivers that still would be up to speed and still able to be competitive for this victory. And that could cause a problem for drivers in the fact that we've documented the smaller the pack, the less amount of energy there is, and it makes it difficult to be able to make a move, whether it's on the inside or the outside line, and make forward progress when you don't have 8, 9, 10 cars lined up behind you and you only have 2 or 3. So we'll have to see how slicey and dicey these guys will get here. Again, next flag will end the race as well. When we go back green, if the caution comes out, they'll race back to the caution. That'll be the proverbial checkered flag. If they get the white flag, they will race back to the checkered flag, and we will stay with the leaders under both scenarios to see who indeed is going to have their splitter hit the start-finish line first to pick up this 6th win on Season 6. Palmer, Roberts, Sandoval, Wesley, Godfrey. That's the top 5 with Carroll, Hewlick, Breedlove, Alex Moe, there he is, late stages, top 10 in 9th, and Vliet, that is the top 10 for this upcoming restart. A lot of drivers out there with crunched up hoods, including Dennis McCarthy and Kelly Causey, but soldiering on as we get ready for our final restart of the night. And I almost wonder there for McCarthy and Causey if they're out there with the damage they got from the wreck, because they don't want to come down pit road with the chance that the crew chief says, okay, we're done, bring it to the garage area. They're saying, nope, we're staying out here.
Can't say I blame him for that.
Greg Palmer has led the 2nd most laps tonight. That was his 20th lap led. Trying to hold them all off here for what will be now 3.5 laps.
He was able to clear Ken Roberts and jump to the outside to get in front of him, but here comes Wesley. Top to bottom move. He's got Ulysses Sandoval right behind him for drafting help. That's quite a move there by Wesley.
Had a big run. Picked up the momentum of that inside line. He'll draw alongside of Ken Roberts for 2nd. And we saw bumps in the beginning stage of the race. We saw pushes as we entered the halfway. We have now entered into shove territory.
Wesley's making some ground on that bottom. He's alongside Palmer.
Pretty even in the number of cars in the respective lines. 7 on the top, 7 on the bottom, maybe 8 with Blaine Donlin trying to trail them.
Roberts had a look to the outside of Palmer for a split second. That kind of hurt the momentum just a bit there for Palmer, and it might give Wesley the lead. Garland Oak on the outside.
Just swung around Rock Weston actually right there. 2 laps to go here from Talladega Night Super Speedway. Wesley, trying to be the first repeat winner on the season, has half a car length advantage on Palmer. Can't clear him off of 2. Still fairly even, pretty gridlocked here between the top 2. Wesley gets the advantage into the corner. Palmer gets it off the corner. They're trying a third line back there with Oaks and Weston, but nobody else willing to migrate up there for the time being. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go. Will they all make it back?
Palmer moves to the inside now. Can Ken Roberts do anything on the outside?
Going to get a big push here from Denny Carroll.
Palmer playing both sides here.
Oh,
what you need to do as a leader. Boy, that was almost a disaster.
Roberts was nearly clear on the bottom. I thought he might try a move in front of Wesley. Oaks and Hagley get together towards the back end of the pack, but right now Palmer looks like he's in control. Roberts right there with him though. Carroll's going to move low. That's going to take away Roberts' options. Palmer covers the bottom. And Greg Palmer Great defensive driving on that final restart.
Textbook right there. That is how you defend the lead late in the going.
Becomes the 6th different winner on the season. He came into tonight 7 points below the 12th in the standings cut line. This will certainly elevate him up into the top 12. He'll look to defend that playoff spot in 2 weeks' time. But he'll pick up his first victory on the season after leading, ironically, 22 laps here tonight. Well, and now add another one to the flip counter.
I didn't have the race winner going upside down on my bingo card tonight, but...
You mentioned the word textbook. I believe it is textbook to do burnouts with the tires on the ground, not in the air.
Yes.
We know that Joe DeSpirito has the reverse burnouts. I wish there was a way to be able to finagle it where you can flip your car upside down and kind of do like what you can do in Rocket League, where you can flip on your roof and then do the spin upside down, do burnouts like that.
A spinneroonie, as Booker T.
There you go, yeah. Big win tonight for Greg Palmer. And some good comeback runs for drivers that were involved in some earlier incidents tonight as well. Some salvaging top 10s, others top 15s. And Palmer will park it in that cloud of smoke. Is in there somewhere. And they will be pushing him to victory lane here in just a few moments. We'll be talking with him and the rest of the podium finishers that are as follows. Denny Carroll, the consistency continues for that 41 car here as he'll bring it home in second. And Ken Roberts will complete the podium in third. Grant Wesley will come up just short of being the first repeat winner on the season as he'll finish fourth. And Yossi Sandoval will complete the top 5. Robert Breedlove, he'll finish in 6th. Chris Van Vliet, he was a lap down in the early going of this race. Comes back for 7th. Doug Kulik in 8th. John Godfrey 9th. And Alex Moe is going to complete the top 10. Garland Oaks, he was 2 laps down at one point in this race. He'll finish in 11th with Craig Hagley in 12th. Blaine Donlan comes back for 13th. Rod Weston right behind him there. So Tarnation TV, nose to tail, 13th, 14th. Chris Elliott will finish in 15th. Dennis McCarthy, 16th, with Javier Negron at 17th. Brian Rawson, Brian Wolf, Bob Dixon will complete the top 20. Those 3 just around that cut line coming in tonight. They may remain so going into the regular season finale. Kelly Causey, after leading a race-high 36 laps, he will finish 21st. Katie Huntsbury, the last driver to finish the race, finished on the lead lap in 22nd. And then 8 drivers did not reach the conclusion tonight, including Rodney Sullins, Randy Waugh, RJ Cabana, Gary Heiser, Bob Sire, Mark Paglia, Terry Bombard, and Steven Brandstetter. After 5 cautions tonight, and 3 of them massive wrecks during the course of this race. A lot of drivers with a lot of damage, some able to continue on and salvage, others forced to call it an early night. But it will certainly set us up with some interesting scenarios going into the regular season finale in a couple of weeks' time to determine who those 12 drivers will be that will be battling for this season's Season 6 Shake and Bake Championship. That's going to bring us into our FRN post-race wind down. It's time to dial up our podium finishers tonight. Let's kick things off with the man that brings it home 3rd place, Ken Roberts.
User was moved to your channel.
Hey Ken, it's Kyle and Seth. I'm having an identity crisis up here in the FRN booth. You got a copy?
Yep, 10-4.
I'll tell you what, wild race here tonight. Kyle dubbed it correctly, kind of a tale of 2 races. A lot of emphasis on green flag laps and green flag pit stops at the beginning. Then it started turning into a bit of a survival fest in the second half of this race. A lot of big wrecks, a lot of heavy contact, heavy damage sustained. You were able to stay out of all that, be in the conversation for this win. couple of moments that we saw in that final run to the checkers. Saw you step out a little bit, take a peek maybe for 3 wide at one point down the back straightaway. Maybe cleared coming on the white flag lap there of the inside line to cross to the bottom, but definitely had some shots potentially to take this victory. What did the options look like out the windshield of this Chevrolet?
Well, yeah, they're going down the last straightaway there. When Denny dove low to coming out of 4 there. I didn't think I was clear. I wasn't sure. And I just, I was just going to take a good finish instead of, possibly having a wreck. So, to build up the points a little bit. So, yeah, it was a good race. Quiet in the first half of the race, and then seemed a little bit more more active in the second half. So, but it was a good points night, and I'll take it.
So you mentioned a good points night and just looking for a good finish. You came into tonight 8th in the points standings. This will certainly cushion the gap between you and that 12th in the standings cut line. Now, obviously, we don't have the updated points, but do you think that with the run here tonight, it now gives you a little bit more freedom to be aggressive in a couple of weeks' time in that regular season finale, maybe with a victory to establish even better momentum on the eve of the playoffs?
Yeah, absolutely. See where the points fall out tonight, and then next week, maybe it could be a little more aggressive and get out front and either try to lead or try to win one of these things.
Obviously we'll be off next week, the Thanksgiving week, and then we'll be back at it for that regular season finale in 2 weeks' time. As a driver, does that extra week there, that off week, does that allow you to go into a race, whether it be the situation we have here with a regular season finale or just a normal race on the schedule, whether it be during the regular season or the playoffs, a little bit more refreshed, or does that make you a little bit more amped up for when you guys get ready to go green?
For me, I think it amps me up, and when you take time off, you get excited to come back and race with the guys and stuff. So usually they're very aggressive races after, we've had a break. So yeah, it should be good. So there are a lot of good drivers in here. So it'll be tough, but we'll see what happens when it comes after the break.
Well, couldn't ask for a better hype man there of talking about what that race is going to be like. Coming up here for that regular season finale. Looking forward to what should be a good one to set the playoff 12. A great run for you here tonight to establish yourself solidly in that playoff grid. Before we let you go, Ken, floor is yours for thank you, sponsors, and shoutouts.
Yeah, I'd like to congratulate Palmer on his win. Well deserved there. Thanks to the Elliots for Talladega Nights for putting all this on, and you guys doing the broadcasting, and Rodney for my paints and all my teammates. We was running good together there tonight. It was fun to be back with the boys. So, but good night.
Good night indeed. Third place performance here tonight for Ken Roberts, as he will look to keep himself in the top 12 in a couple of weeks in hopes of making it into the playoffs and fighting for the championship here in Season 6. Congratulations on a great run here tonight. Happy Thanksgiving, and look forward to seeing you go back at it in a couple weeks' time, Ken.
Thanks, guys, and happy Thanksgiving to both of you.
Ken Roberts going to bring it home second place here tonight. It's an all Chevy podium here this evening. A couple of Camaros with a Chevelle in the center. Let's see if we can dial up that driver, the number 41 of Denny Carroll, the points leader, runner-up finish here tonight.
User was moved to your channel.
Hey, Denny, it's the guys up here in the FRM booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Man, I'll tell you what, we talked about it during the broadcast. You've been the model of consistency here this season, which is not an easy thing to do when it's a super speedway series. You had the victory a few weeks ago. You've been consistently top 5, top 10 every single week. We were kind of debating here tonight because last week, after you had the victory, you said, I'm just looking to have a good finish, pad my points lead. You were able to do that. Did that change here tonight? Was it the same strategy, or was tonight, I'm going to go out there, try and see if I can get a second win before these playoffs begin?
Well, I was going to try to win that one, and when it started, I went straight to the back for some reason. I had to fight my way up, or I got 3 or 4 teammates in here, and they all got wrecked. That last caution only had one of them left.
Yeah, that's something we normally don't talk about is when we end up seeing wrecks that end up taking a number of drivers out or have them damaged, it does limit the options of teammates for those that are up to speed. But you were able to be up here again in the conversation. We saw that big move out of turn 4 to the bottom to try and pick up this victory. Obviously, we've got a off week coming up here, one more race here in the regular season, but certainly got to have a lot of confidence here with the playoffs looming, the consistency that we've seen here out of this number 41 machine, especially with this playoff system. It's going to be extremely expedited. Only 3 playoff races to determine the champion.
Yeah, I'm just going to try to win the rest of them because I don't think I can get knocked out now, even if I finish last. I don't believe.
Yeah, I believe you would be correct in that came into tonight over 200 points ahead of the cut line, and certainly with this runner-up finish tonight going to exceed that. So I think you are absolutely correct, absolutely locked in to the postseason. Denny, a great run for you here again tonight. Right place, right time to avoid a lot of those massive wrecks, bringing it home with another solid result. We mentioned about the consistency, plus you've got that victory as well. It's been an incredible regular season run for you, and we look forward to seeing you cap it off in a couple of weeks' time. Before we let you go, the floor is yours for thank you, sponsors, and shout-outs.
All right, thank you, guys. I'd just like to thank God for letting us race and, some guys and my teammates, Breedlove, Cabana, Randy. Those guys are great teammates, and we'll get them one day.
Well, Denny Carroll, a great run here tonight, keeps the consistency train rolling here in Season 6 of the Shake and Bake series. Congratulations once again. Have a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you in a couple weeks' time, maybe in Victory Lane to close out the regular season.
Oh, yeah. Tell Palmer we let him have it, and we felt bad for him.
Okay, will do. That's Denny Carroll, brings it home runner-up here tonight. And let's see if we can now go down to Victory Lane and dial up the 6th different winner on the season. That'd be Greg Palmer.
User was moved to your
Hey, Greg, it's the guys up here in the FRM booth. You got a copy?
Hey, guys. Good evening.
Man, I'll tell you what, came in tonight in an interesting position, just below the cut line. Not by much, only 7 points, 14th in the standings, but a victory here tonight, putting you in good position for the upcoming regular season finale in a couple of weeks. Kyle said the word textbook in what you were able to do for the defensive driving in that final 4-lap shootout to the end. Had a lot of different drivers breathing down your neck and different lines there. How difficult was it from the cockpit, from the driver's seat of this 22 car to hang on, pick up this victory?
Oh, it was difficult between Kenny behind me and Ulysses and Grant. I was rear view mirror driving the last 4 or 5 laps.
Yeah, obviously we ended up seeing a lot of big moves there in the closing stage of this race, and we knew that we were in that point of no return where the next flag was going to end the race. Was there any point there where you were hoping for the caution to come out before the white flag so that you could have that maybe that 1 or 2 extra laps under pacing to be able to pick up the checkered flag, or did you enjoy the challenge there of battling for those 4 laps?
No, I really did enjoy the challenge. I mean, I knew I was in good position, and I can switch lanes if I wanted to. Get in front of Grant, stay in front of Kenny. I had good position, and either yellow or race for the checkered. I was hoping to race for the checkered. Thank God it worked out that way.
Certainly did. Gave us an exciting finish here tonight. You become the 6th different winner on the season. We've got one more race here until the playoffs begin. Mentioned you came into the night below the cut line. You'll most definitely be above the cut line going into next week. How much pressure does the victory here tonight, do you think, take off of you in preparation for that regular season finale, and maybe in terms of what your strategy could have been going in as to now?
Well, it takes a lot of pressure off now that I have a win, but I have my teammates behind me. I got they're just, we were up front almost all night with Kenny and John and Kelly. But we lost a couple of guys, Dennis and Rawson, and Craig due to damage accidents. But we had a good bulk of our teammates up in front and helping each other, helping me. And I think it's going to be like that all the way through next week, 2 weeks, and thereafter.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to it. From what things looked like coming into tonight around the cut line, may end up closing up even more for that regular season finale, so should be a good one in a couple of weeks' time. Greg, congratulations on the victory here tonight. Some alleviation for you in terms of that pressure for the upcoming regular season finale. Before we let you get back to your celebrating, we'll give you the opportunities for some victory lane. Thank you, sponsors, and shoutouts.
Yeah, thanks, Seth. Thanks, Kyle. Want to thank you guys in the booth. This league would be nothing without broadcasting. Secondly, I want to thank the admins, Chris, Ken, Craig, Garland. Jeff couldn't be here today. I don't know why, but thank you for the admins and my teammates at RPM. Ken, Rod, John, Craig, Kelly, Rasson, and Dennis McCarthy, the new member. Appreciate it, guys. I am so tired. I'm like ready to fall asleep. I had to drive all the way up to Westchester today and back. So I'm exhausted.
Well, a sleep well deserved as you pick up the checkered flag here tonight. Congratulations, Greg. Have a happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you back at it in a couple of weeks' time as you look to follow up this victory and lock yourself up a spot in the postseason here in the Shake and Bake Series.
Appreciate that, Seth, Kyle. Happy gobble gobble. Enjoy. And I'll see you guys in a couple.
Absolutely. That's Greg Palmer. He's the 6th different
User was moved
driver
out of
to
your
go to
channel.
victory lane here this season. Will we get 7? You'll have to tune in a couple weeks' time to find out. A thriller here tonight. Had to maneuver through a couple of massive wrecks to get there. But now, with what we heard there from Ken, I kind of want to go back to one of his comments and the fact that, at least for him, and I feel like it may be for a majority of the field, having that off week next week for Thanksgiving, it just kind of ups the ante a little bit in terms of the anticipation when the green flag's going to fly in 2 weeks' time for that regular season finale. Throw into the fact different drivers are going to have different agendas. Some drivers, they're already going to mathematically be locked into the postseason, so they'll be out there looking to end off the regular season with a victory. Others, they'll be looking to preserve their spot in the top 12, and other drivers, they'll be looking to either point or win their way into the top 12. With all that, you certainly think it might reach a boiling point, and we could be in for a thriller of a regular season finale.
Yeah, if tonight was any indication, yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. We are definitely in for a thriller. Just looking back on this race, it's just, again, we both mentioned it. It was basically a tale of two halves. It was really calm, really, the first half of the race. And then once we got that first caution, I mean, that changed the whole, changed the whole race. I mean, what's the old saying? Cautions breed cautions. And it certainly did tonight.
Definitely did indeed. Well, while these drivers will be anticipating that upcoming green flag 2 weeks from tonight, we will be anticipating our upcoming broadcast, but they will be in 2 weeks' time. We will be off the entirety of next week as the Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday regular broadcast that we do. All those series will be off for Thanksgiving week. We will resume our broadcasting in the month of December, starting with our Wednesday broadcast on December 3rd. We will be at the Southern National Motorsports Park, the next to last race of season 66 of the Aero 88 series. Thursday night, December 4th, we'll be with Tarnation TV Flatout Racing Network simulcast, as we'll be determining the final 4 for the Talladega Challenge Series. So far, nobody is locked in. Richard Martin, non-playoff driver, ended up winning this past Thursday night. And then we'll be back here with the 6th season of the Talladega Night Shake and Bake Series on December the 6th, the regular season finale to determine the 12 drivers that will compete for the playoffs. We thank you all for tuning into our coverage here tonight. Hope you all have a happy and safe Thanksgiving. We will see you guys in the month of December. For Kyle Matthews, I'm Seth Cole. Thanks for spending your Saturday night with us as you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of FRN, the Flatout Racing Network.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of Flatout Racing Network and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Flatout Racing Network and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. Flatout Racing Network would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.